Hello and welcome to another Sports and Songs podcast bonus episode. I'm here with Craig from Philly tonight. How are you doing, Craig?
Doing pretty good.
Well, what we've got, Craig, the college football season is over. We saw the Indiana game, the national championship. They beat number 10 seeded Miami on Monday night. The season's done. It's been an exciting season. Real good bowl games, real good playoff bowl games, college football. Now, tonight's show is going to be a Minnesota Golden Gopher review show from the season. We had you on early on before the season to give some predictions, Craig, and some prognostications, kind of see where the Gophers are going to be with Fleck and the players this year. Now, tonight's show, we're going to see where that all landed up. We're going to go game by game and see how the Gophers did versus what surprised you, what you thought was obvious, or some shocks that you saw in the system. They'll give a little summary at the end of the show, Craig.
Sounds good.
How's that sound? All right, here we go. So we're going to start off with the three non-conference preseason, essentially the games. The Buffalo Bulls, Craig. So here's what happened. They come to town once again, FS1 national TV on a Thursday night. They win 23-10 at home against Buffalo. Any thoughts there on that Thursday night game?
That was a tough one to watch because they had to pull it out in the last minute. Yeah, it was a tough game, but good win.
Yeah, and it should have been more than that, but a win's a win. But it wasn't what you want to see for your first game against a smaller opponent, right?
Correct.
And so that was the first game. Then they bring in Northwestern State Demons, Huntington Bank Stadium, on the Saturday after Labor Day. They win 66-0. What were your thoughts on that game?
Well, the team coming in was like 0-12 and the Louisiana conference or wherever they're from. So I didn't think much of it. They held them scoreless, so the defense looked good. But yeah, nothing right.
And that's what you want to do, right? In those first three games, you want to have some blowout wins, get the subs in, run up the score. That's the point of these early games. And so I like that. I liked the score. I like what they did. Everything was done right in that game. Now they find themselves 2-0. They go to Cal to play the Golden Bears on a nationally televised late game, and they lose 27-14 in a game they really weren't in at all. What's your thought?
They were not in it at all, like you said. It was brutal. I expected them. I expected it to be a close game, but the Gophers lost that one. That was totally deflating. I did not see that one coming.
So that's on ESPN. They just couldn't get going. They didn't look prepared. They didn't look ready. They didn't look energized. But the offset to that is Cal looked really good. They looked sharp.
Well, I preached our defense was going to be really good and they'll help the maturation of Lindsey, but Cal got 27 on us, and I was very disappointed. So
they find themselves now 2-1, non-conference finish. They start the Big Ten home opener against Rutgers at home, and Rutgers. I don't know what the line was on this game, but this should have been an easier game, so to say, right? Gophers win 31-28, a nail-biter.
Oh, no, Rutgers is good.
They are? Okay.
Well, not win-loss record, no. But as far as a good team, you're not going to steamroll them, that's Rutgers. Okay. I wouldn't have been surprised if Rutgers would have won this one.
Okay, got it.
But I think Rutgers had a big lead, too, at one point. And but, yeah, it was a close game. Good. I thought it was a very good win for the Gophers, especially.
And so at this point now they're 3-2 or 3-1. And what did you think the record was going to be after these first four games? I think you said 3-1, right?
No, I said 4-0.
4-0. Okay, got it. Yeah, and that Cal game really
That
was kind of surprised everyone because I think I had them even winning that game as well, or at least playing good. But boy, and then the Rutgers game was close.
I think Andy on the previous
Um,
California. So I think he was the only one out of the four of us
okay.
that had to go.
So now they're 3-1 overall. They go to Ohio State on a night game, Saturday night on NBC and Peacock, and get blown out 42-3. But we knew they were going to lose and knew they were going to get beat and most likely beat up. But what was the score in your mind versus what you kind of thought it would be?
I I thought in Fleck's ninth year as coach that he would lose probably these kind of games, 33-17. Be kind of competitive, losing in the fourth quarter, that kind of deal. But to look like that, it, that was disheartening to me. There was no compete, there was no totally outclassed on everything in that game.
Now, at halftime, it was relatively close and at least respectable. But boy, that second half got out of hand. Ohio State wins 42-3, and Gophers come home licking their wounds, and they find themselves 1-1 in the Big Ten. Now they're 3-2 overall, with homecoming coming up against Purdue the following week. And so, what was your thoughts against Purdue? They win 27-20 for homecoming, but what's your thoughts on that game?
They struggled against Purdue, but Big Ten, you're going to struggle against some of these teams, and it was a good win, 27-17. So we did what we had to do to beat Purdue.
Or 27-20, I've got here 27-20. Good game. They got the win. Nice to get the win. And then the interesting thing is what I thought. I would like to get your thoughts on this next game. So they come off Purdue. Nebraska comes to town, and they play a game on a Friday night on Fox, and they rough up Nebraska 24-6. Just completely dismantled this Nebraska team who couldn't get anything going. I'd like to get your thoughts.
You know what? I thought Nebraska, I predicted them to be really good last year. They bamboozled me, but I predicted them to be kind of like Indiana of the year before, and I can't believe that was astonishing to me how Minnesota manhandled Nebraska and Dylan Royale, their quarterback. I mean, I watched that game and I was like, wow, I can't believe the Gophers are playing this good.
Now,
So
to me, Nebraska just not only did Minnesota play good, but it looked to me like Nebraska just came out flat, kind of like the Gophers at Cal. It kind of looked like that. Nebraska wasn't ready. We just manhandled them. Were we that good, or
yeah,
did Nebraska just have a bad game, or what happened there?
I think it was both. I really do, because good teams can get out to slow starts and then kick into gear, but Nebraska never did. So I would credit the Gophers defensive coordinator for that. And then I think Nebraska was ranked 25th at the time too. So we had a
Yeah,
ranked
they
win
were.
there.
They were ranked. They were ranked for that game, and so that really got the fan base up. Very positive. Everyone was ready to go. Very impressive win against Nebraska. It was at home, but a big win. And
Yeah,
then
I
what
predict.
happened? And then what happened the next game? They go to Iowa, to Kinnick, and get demolished 41-3. What's your thoughts, Craig, on that game and the turnaround and how opposite it was from the previous week?
Yeah, we couldn't run the ball. Taylor, I think, got hurt right away. I mean, there was kick return for a touchdown against us. I mean, there was this everything that could go wrong went wrong in Iowa City, and I can't believe that. That was the most disheartening game. We understand the Ohio State game, right?
Yep, sure.
That's we can live with that, right? But this game here was the punch in the gut of all the games on the schedule. I have them losing to Iowa, and I have them losing to Nebraska pre-season, and yeah, but this was a total slacking that I did not see coming. So that was the most disappointing game I've probably seen in years.
Yeah, and that got everyone that was high on the team from the Nebraska game back down. And there were some fans leaving saying, I'm done. I can't be a Gopher fan after this Iowa game. After just saying how good it was against Nebraska, people were very unhappy against this Iowa product that got put on the field there down in Iowa City. And the Gophers did nothing right. And so now the season's halfway done, and the fans are like, I don't even know what to believe anymore. This team is up, this
Yeah.
team is down. It's the wishy-washy fans had no time for it. I mean, they were falling off the wagon after this game.
Well, besides that second game of the year against Northwest Louisiana State, wherever that team was, every
Northwestern
game's
State,
been
yeah.
either got blown out or every game came down to the final possession. It was no cupcakes. The Gophers can beat anybody handily this year. So, yeah, that Iowa game. I was chanting "Fire Fleck" after that one.
It was rough. Boy, that was very interesting there at the end of October. Now they flipped the calendar, November 1st. Michigan State comes to town, and the Gophers win in overtime, but were down most of the game and came back and tied it, went into overtime, and they won the game. So now they're back on the up. Tell me more about that game.
Another heart attack game. If you're a
Yeah.
Gopher, you're just sitting there going, "Come on, really? We're allowing Michigan State, who's totally dismantled, totally in chaos, coming to our house and basically going to beat us." I think
Yeah.
what we have to run the ball in overtime. He ran the ball in to win the game or something like that. I was once again just like, how are we going to ever compete for Big Ten championship if we're struggling against Michigan State, Rutgers, Purdue, and getting blown out by Iowa and Ohio State like we're not even like a JV team, you know? So I was just sitting there going, I expected big things this year, and it's just, yeah.
Yeah, we had fun on that pregame, the season preview, thinking the Gophers on paper looked pretty good, favorable schedule. And then we get, now there's 3 games left of the season coming up on a bye week after that Michigan State winner. Yes, it was a win. Yes, it was in overtime. Yes, it was at home. A win's a win, but we got out of there just by the skin of our teeth in that game. Now we got a bye week and we go to Oregon to play the Ducks in Eugene. That was 42-13. Now it's much of the same. Now you're talking the same as Ohio State, same as Iowa State. Ducks do the same thing there. Wild game. What are your thoughts?
See, I don't know if the other coaches' respect for PJ Fleck keeps the score a little bit down. You know, you wonder if Ryan Day could have ran up the score even more in Ohio State game. Like same with Oregon with Dan Lanning. I think they respect PJ Fleck to kind of go, okay, we don't want to embarrass them too much here, you know?
Yeah.
Because the Gophers they couldn't cover anybody. They couldn't tackle. That running back scored bounced off of 8 guys and he ran in for a score 30 yards out. Offense did all right. But here's the deal. When you got to do crazy formations just to get a first down and try to trick the defense at your 30-yard line, it's like you can't compete. The talent level's so skewed that you can't compete. You got to do all these crazy formations just to try to trick the defense so you can get first down. It's just, yeah, you got to be good at something. You got to be good at running the ball or passing the ball or good defense. And a lot of these games didn't have any of it,
Yeah, and this was national TV once again on Fox. I don't want to say embarrassing, but it wasn't good for the program. But they got out of there. They put up double digits, 13 points. They gave up a season-tying 42 points,
which is
tied
good.
Ohio State. So we figured we'd lose, but you want to keep it close. You want to keep it competitive, and it really, really wasn't. Now, the nice thing, Craig, is this. You have 2 games left. You go to Northwestern, and you come home against Wisconsin. There should be your favorability built into the schedule, right? Kind of favorable. End the season with 2 wins.
Correct.
Get up there at 8, 8 wins going to a bowl game. And they play at Wrigley Field, Chicago. Northwestern Stadium is being built. They lose by 3 to the Wildcats. 38-35.
Okay,
how'd that game go for you? What are your thoughts?
Defense. You can't let Northwestern throw for like 381 yards and 4 touchdowns. I know Fleck said, "Well, we got too many injuries," but I offense looked good. Lindsey looked good. He threw for 4 touchdowns. It's like that was his breakout game, So that was good to see. I know we lost and we shouldn't have lost. That was a game we should have won, but you got to take something out of it. You saw Lindsey grow. He threw 4 touchdowns, and Tracy was coming on as a good wide receiver. So, it's a game we obviously should have won, but you could take that out of it. So
and on the preview show, we knew that the season finale against a fairly weak Wisconsin Badger team to end the season at home, Huntington Bank Stadium, they win 17-7 to end the Big Ten season there with a nice little win. That was nice, but even that seemed almost too close for comfort, right?
Yeah, but we had the game in hand the whole time, I thought, so I wasn't too worried. Wisconsin just didn't have the firepower, and our defense was playing good, so I didn't worry about it. So
okay, no heartburn there. But so they finished the Big Ten season. Here's what they did. They went 5-4 in the Big Ten. They went 7-0 at home for the entire regular season. 7-0. Is that the first time in a long time that's happened? 0-5 on the road.
I remember.
0-5 on the road.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how that. I don't think that's ever happened. They might have to go back to 1962 or something.
So they win every game at home, which is good. It's great for the fans. It's awesome. But now Fleck gets this target on his back because now he can't win a single game on the road. He literally went 0-5, and that's tough for a coach to not even pull off a single road win all year when the regular season ends. So they're sitting at 7-5. There's 18 teams in the Big Ten, and you're sitting at 7-5 with what we thought would be a fairly easy schedule.
Yeah, I have going 8-4, and I was kind of wondering, well, they might go 9-3 with their schedule. I predicted them 8-4 on the previous podcast. 7-5 was a downer for me because you're not getting, besides Ohio State and Oregon, every other game is pretty much winnable, and go 7-5 is disappointing to say the least. So
they get invited to a mid-level bowl game at the Rate Bowl down in Chase Field in Phoenix. They take on the New Mexico Lobos. They win that game 20-17 in overtime. Fleck is now perfect in bowl games. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, you know what? You can hang your hat on that. I don't have a problem with that. But, I like to see the Gophers, maybe take on a Clemson once in a while in a bowl game, or a TCU or somebody like that instead of playing MAC teams and Mountain West teams in bowl games, So we struggle with New Mexico. New Mexico was 9-3, so they weren't chump change. So I don't know I watched that game, and we had the ball at like the 40-yard line, first down and 10 on the opposing team's 40-yard line like a couple times, and we ended up punting. You can't. against New Mexico, you at least got to get 3 points. I was not happy with that.
So they finish 8-5. The season ends. Of course, there's a lot of talk with the NIL, the transfer portal, all this stuff going on. Meanwhile, Indiana goes undefeated with a team made up of 2, 3, and 4-star recruits, and they go undefeated and win the national title. In the Big Ten, with all these new teams being added with Washington, UCLA, Oregon, Indiana of all teams is winning the Big Ten. What's your thoughts on what is going on? We just thought, as a Gopher fan, I figured with those big teams coming in, our chance to win and do well in the Big Ten, those days are gone, right?
Well,
You just want to become competitive now. But these guys are beating everybody, and they're like us.
here's the thing. I don't want to hear anybody say anymore that, well, Minnesota is a hard place to play. Kids don't want to come here, this and that. Whoever said they want to take a 2-week vacation to Bloomington, Indiana? Nobody. So I don't want to hear this anymore. The Gophers are happy to be 8-5 because they can't get kids to come here or whatever. Indiana's proof. They're the worst program in pretty much history, and now they won a national championship. So, yeah, I loved it. I wanted them to win the national championship this year. I wanted them to play Ole Miss. That didn't happen, but yeah. So I love it, to be honest.
So we know that it can be done, taking a program and turning it around. When Fleck first came here, he said, we're going to we're going to spin this around. It's going to be a 2 to 3 year project, and we're going to do well. And, it's been average ever since, except that one good year. Now he's coming up on year number 10. So how can a guy from Indiana come in, from James Madison, take this team 2 straight years, 2 losses over 2 years playing in the Big Ten, tough schedule, everything else, and just automatically flip that switch? And I think that's what's the hardest thing for fans to grasp, that it's not a 2 or 3 year rebuilding. It's immediate. I mean, he came in and, are they all signed on to the program? Is it a motivational thing? Are they all, is it all clubhouse atmosphere versus 5-star athletes? How are they doing this?
I don't know. One of the mysteries of the world, like aliens. Do they exist or not? I can't describe it. If it comes down to coaching, he's the best coach of all time. It's as simple as X's and O's. He's the best coach of all time. I don't know. To be honest, I know they get Mark Cuban's money, but he's doing it with 2, 3-star recruits. He's not taking Arch Manning from Texas, So, yeah, I don't know.
So now you get what the Minnesota fans have been complaining about all these years, and then saying it can't be done. And Indiana coach comes in now and does it. Small market program, a basketball school, not a football school, and just turns it all around. How is that even fathomable? It's fun. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But it's a tough thing to do. It's a miracle almost.
If you watch the Alabama game against Indiana, if you watch the national championship game against Indiana, when it's 3rd and 5, Indiana calls the right play. They throw an out for 7 yards for a first down. Mendoza throws a great ball to Becker. I mean, they run the ball on 3rd and 4 and get 8. They call the right play. It's not necessarily talent. They're calling the right play at the right time, it seems like. All the time with Indiana. When they need
successful,
they call the right play to get a first down. Whether it's an out, screen, tight end, whatever. It just seems they get it right 8 out of 10 times on 3rd down.
And there's very, very few mistakes.
Yes. Yeah, you don't see drop passes, really. You don't see honest, guys getting blown up in the backfield when they get the ball. It's it's got to be coaching. He's not doing it with the transfer portal masses. I mean, he's doing it with transfer portal players, but they're from James Madison and Liberty and places of that nature, you know? So,
And you don't hear about those players in the news on TMZ. There's no arrests and fights and drunkenness
yeah.
and girls. That's a clean cut program, and they're keeping their nose clean and they're winning the games. And
And,
people are surprised and shocked. They're just getting the job done. It's unbelievable.
and I will say this about Fleck, even though I'm on the bandwagon of I could see him go. I kind of want him to get fired, but or take another job. I'm kind of tired of it. But I will say this about Fleck. He did a few things right. He won more rivalry games than any other Minnesota coach.
Okay.
He got the axe. He got the Floyd of Rosedale more than any
Big.
other. He had that, and his kids didn't get in trouble. Like you mentioned too with Indiana, you don't see the Minnesota kids getting in bar fights or drunk driving or any of that stuff. So Fleck, and that's important to me too, you know. So I give him that, but I'm at the point of wanting to roll the dice on another coach, you know, Mullins and UNLV, some hot shot offensive coordinator. I don't know, and it could backfire, but I'm at the point now. I the 7-5s and the 8-5s and the 6-6s, and it's not cutting it for me anymore.
Yeah, it's tough. Now the good things, just to rehash, Fleck undefeated in bowl games since he got to Minnesota. That's now the national record right now. The win streak of bowl games all across the nation, 9 straight consecutive wins. Now, granted, they're mid-tier games. That Auburn game a few years back was big, but he's simply getting the job done, which is good. 7-0 at home this year. That's good. Yes, close wins, but you're still getting the win.
Well, let me ask you this.
The road woes.
Let me ask you
Yeah, go
this, and
ahead.
I don't know if other schools have tried to poach Fleck or not. I don't know. I'm not in the loop on that, but somehow he's been here going into the 10th season, and Virginia Tech didn't call Fleck. Uh, you know, Ole Miss didn't call Fleck. Arkansas didn't call Fleck. So there's no demand for him anywhere. So I'm ready to move on, you know? So
Yeah,
I
I
like
would
to
I
go
would
on.
agree as far as his value, has gone down. Um, a lot of coaches out there could do what he's doing, I think, right now. I mean, it's very average, a little higher average, but boy, when he came in, I mean, it was big bowl tier 1 bowl games. It was playing for the Big 10 title. Those were all the things and the hopes and dreams of the fans, that we'd be in the hunt for a Big 10 title, playing there at Lucas Oil Stadium, East against the West for the title, playing in some major bowl games and being consistently ranked in the top 25. And we just haven't seen that. And so I don't know if it's a shot on Fleck or the organization or the funding or the NIL or the transfer, but it's a lot of the same stuff. And now, what does 2026 look like? Do you know
Well,
how the schedule looks for next year, Craig?
oh Lordy. Well, we got Penn State at Penn State, which I'm planning on going to. Um, that's a great time. I think we got Penn State, we got Michigan at home, we got Iowa at home, obviously, and then Washington, UCLA. I can't remember all of it, but
Indiana
yeah,
also?
we got Indiana. I'm sorry, we
Okay.
got, and so besides Indiana, I don't think we got USC, so we dodged that one. We dodged Ohio State and Oregon, but I think this schedule is going to be brutal for them. There's teams that ain't unranked right now.
Okay.
I could see them when we face them. Yeah, you could see a lot of these teams being one-loss teams when we play them. So yeah, non-conference schedule. We got, if I'm reading this right, my Mississippi State Bulldogs are coming here to Huntington Bank. So that's a surprise. So kind of excited for that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm off the Fleck train, so I'm not expecting anything. I'm expecting another 5, 6, 7 win season here. So
Now,
the
talking about
portal isn't that bad. Besides Cole Parrish leaving and the running back, I think we got more in return than what we lost.
so yes, Coy's taken off. He's going to play for Oregon. We don't play them next year, and that'll most likely be his last year. He wants to go 3 years, declare, and go to the pros. We're not going to face them because we don't play them next year, but he's going to go to Oregon. Now, he came in from Esco, Minnesota, highly touted recruit, top guy in the state, one of the top in the nation, decided to stay home, decided to go for the Gophers, and Fleck was waving the flag saying, see, we can keep the in-state guys here. We can do it. And he said, I'm going to play 4 years here and kick butt and, become famous. And now it's 2 years and enters the portal. So another blow from keeping and retaining the big studs. But how's that going to impact us, do you think, for him leaving? Not as much, maybe?
I didn't see the allure for Parrish as much as other people did. Maybe I'm off. I watched a lot of Gopher games, and I saw him as kind of a non-factor in a lot of games.
Okay.
Sure, it's a deterrent, but I don't know. I don't see him being this big stud at Oregon, but I could be totally wrong. He could be all that, and I just didn't. I missed it, but it's gonna be totally local boy, Minnesota kid. It's a big hit. It will affect us, but we're retaining. I think Taylor's coming back, and I think Smith is. I don't think Smith's going into the draft, so I think he's coming back. And we got a 4-star receiver from Auburn, so things are looking up. Like I said, I think we gained more in the transfer portal than we lost, even though Parrish was a big one. Besides that, it was not that big of a deal of who left, unless I'm missing something. But
yeah, it's interesting with Coy. Played 2 years here. He's going to go there on the Oregon Duck website for their football website. They do an analysis of all the players picked up via the portal versus all the players departing. Coy's the number one guy there, ranked number one. He's the biggest pickup of all the guys in the portal for that team. So they can't wait, and he's hoping it's a big deal. Now, like this year, what if he doesn't pan out? What if he's average? They used him on special teams. They tried to use him on offense. And his whole year this year was very average. His first year, he focused on defense only, and he was a stud. So now he's going to go to Oregon and play against the big dogs. Are they going to keep him just on defense to raise his stock? He's trying to go pro. What if he doesn't do much? Is that going to lower his stock rating, for the draft, the subsequent year?
Yeah, he'll come back for his senior year if it doesn't pan out.
If that happens, if it comes down, he'll come back.
Yeah, if he doesn't see the field as much as he thought he was going to see, he'll come back for his senior.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I think
we'll see. He might be a stud and a half, and I'm missing it.
Yeah, and he does not like. It's common that he does not like school. He does not like. He's not interested in going to school. He's not interested in getting a degree at all, which is fine. He wants to go 3 years, get out, and get into the NFL via the draft. So he does not want to go to that 4 year. He does not want to, I think, even think about going a 4th year in college because he hates it. He wants to get, fast tracked into the NFL to become a star. And what if that never happens? And now he's not, if he doesn't pan out in the NFL or gets hurt, now he's got no degree. He's a big stud in a small school. Now you're stuck. So he's taking a gamble, I think.
So what's his NIL money at Oregon? I don't know. I just don't know it.
I don't know about it. Well, what that is.
Like what, $2 million? I'm just gonna guess $2 million for Oregon. They're probably paying him.
But I think the goal is this is it. It's this season.
Well, I don't know.
He's done. He's going to go into the portal, enter the draft, declare, and be done. Because I don't see him going 4 years anywhere unless he doesn't play and doesn't do well. You might see him transfer again and go somewhere for a 4th year, and it still may not pan out. But it's a risk. Well, it's like everything's a gamble.
We'll see what Mel Kiper has him on the big board, 3rd round. He might
We'll see how it goes. So that'll be next year in the draft. So this year's draft is coming up in March. We'll cover that. But anything more on the Gophers, Craig?
Nah, like I said, I'm beating it down a little bit. I'm very disappointed in the Gophers on that. I'm always optimistic with Lindsey coming back, and he's got some weapons. Who knows? But with Tate healthy, we got a stud running back again. I'm being optimistic. But I'm kind of just over it at this point. So
now, as a lifelong Minnesotan, you just moved out to the East Coast a few years ago, and you still follow the Gophers, still come on our show to do Gopher Talk. But any other teams that you find yourself following there out in Philly and Delaware area?
There's nothing out here. I got Temple, I got Rutgers, and then
Owls,
Delaware. They came Division I, I guess. That's about 30 minutes for me. Yeah, I mean, I went to a Maryland game. That was pretty fun. But yeah, there ain't much out here as far as Penn State. Probably 3 hours for me. So yeah, and yeah, East Coast is a little different. It's not. It's a little. They're big into the sports teams, the professional than college. So
okay,
college doesn't get much attention out here. It's the Eagles and the Phillies and Yankees, stuff like that.
Got it. Okay, well, thanks again for your time, Craig. Craig from Philly joining us tonight on the Minnesota Golden Gopher review show for the 2025 season. Please leave your comments below if you have any questions for Craig or comments or questions for him. This fall, look for a all-new bonus episode of the preview of the 2026 season, Craig. All right, we'll look forward to talking to you then.
All right, catch you later, Dan.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.